What's going on, people? Welcome to an In Motion Football video. It's typically not how I do things. This is a live streaming community. But unfortunately, this week before Wildcard Weekend is extremely hectic for me, and I'm not able to do a live stream previewing every single AFC matchup the way I did last year. So I'm going to do this pre-recorded video. I'm going to leave this with you guys. And then at some point, we're going to, do our normal live stream thing and check everything out. So for those of you who don't know what this is and weren't with me last year when I did this, I'm going to predict or at least give you my pick for every single possible playoff matchup before the playoffs begin. I did this last year. For anyone who isn't familiar, picked the Chiefs to beat everyone last year. They ended up doing it. You can find it on this channel. We're going to see what I can cook up this year. I don't think it's going to be so simple with one team beating everybody else, but we're going to jump right into it. So we got Denver as the 1 seed. So the way I start this is I start 1 seed onwards. I have some very interesting opinions on Denver. I think the defense is phenomenal, and I think the offense is genuinely troublesome. So how am I gonna pick this? If they were to run into the Patriots, I think they would win. And the reason I think they would win is that I think that their defense would do the job of making sure that New England's offense doesn't score too many points. And then I think Denver's offense would eventually figure it out. While I love Mike Vrabel and I love what they've done in year one, and obviously I'm a big Milton Williams fan. I love Christian Gonzalez. I don't think there's a huge I don't think they have enough talent on defense to out talent Denver. And I think at some point Sean Payton would figure something out in a game like this, especially when Denver's defense is going to give them so many opportunities. So I have Denver beating New England if that matchup somehow, some way does happen. If Denver plays Jacksonville in Denver, this is a very interesting game to talk about considering that Jacksonville went to Denver and beat them so thoroughly. How do I see that matchup going? Now, the tricky thing for me is, again, while I'm a football fan, it's very hard to keep up with every single team to a detail. I don't actually know exactly if Denver was healthy or not defensively, what the reason is that Jacksonville scored a lot of points. But what really scares me in this matchup is the fact that I think Denver's winning formula is completely built on the foundation of their defense playing really well. I think their defense has to keep their offense in the game. Denver's offense is extremely disappointing and extremely underwhelming. I think losing J.K. Dobbins was a really serious thing for them. And yeah, between I think Bo Nix being somebody who makes plays, but I don't necessarily trust to be the main driver in an offense in these high stakes games, and a set of weapons that are good but not exciting or great or anything. I think the idea that Jacksonville knows how to score in this defense terrifies me. And for that reason, I have to pick Jacksonville, because if Denver's defense can't keep Jacksonville under 20 points so that Denver's offense can figure things out, I don't see this going well. And that's really what it is. If I believe that that New England could come in and score a bunch of points on Denver, then I would be picking New England as well. But ultimately, I think Jacksonville is the team that proved it to me, so that's where I'm going. Against the Steelers, I would pick the Broncos. Again, same principle. Do I think Aaron Rodgers in this Kenny Gainwell offense, do I think they would score a bunch of points on Denver? No, I think Denver would keep that offense in check. So for that reason, again, I think over time, Denver's offense would figure out, and that's a big thing for me. So I would have Denver. Against Houston, people, I would have Houston beating the Broncos. Why? Because you talk about Denver having an offense that struggles on its own. Imagine if they then had to face Houston's defense. I think Houston's defense would make life hell for Bo Nix and the Broncos offense. Now, ultimately, I think the same would hold true for Houston's offense. I think Denver's defense would give them headaches as well. However, I just feel like in this inevitably low-scoring game, I trust Houston's offense more, and I trust both defenses a lot. So I would have Houston winning a game like this. Again, Bo Nix has one game of playoff experience, and it's getting blown out in Denver. C.J. Stroud has won playoff games in both years as a player. So, in both years as a player in the NFL. So I would be taking Houston. If Denver were to play Buffalo, this is the tricky one for me, because I'm really not a huge fan of Buffalo's roster. I'm a huge fan of Josh Allen. I'm not even a huge fan of Buffalo's coaching. I'm a huge fan of Josh Allen. Could Josh Allen engineer offense against Denver's defense? Because again, that's my form. That's my key thing with Denver is that is their defense going to be able to stop the other team? And I think Josh Allen would do Superman things. I think he would figure it out. Denver's defense, while they obviously took it to another level this year, they were still good last year. And look at what Buffalo did in that wild card game. Again, this is something I'm going to fact check because sometimes my memory plays tricks on me. I believe Buffalo blew out Denver in the wild card round last year. Bills, Broncos, wild card. 31-7. Yep. Putting 31 on Denver's defense last year is still is impressive as is. So give me Buffalo. I would take the Buffalo Bills if these two teams matched up against each other. So yeah, Denver the 1 seed. So far, I only have them beating two of the what is this? 5 teams? Yeah, 5 teams so far in the playoffs. Now, if Denver were to match up against the Chargers, the team that they already lost to, how would I see this going? My form, you know what I would pick the Chargers if they had any offensive tackles. Trouble is that they lost both their starters. I think they had some other issues with Trey Pipkins. I think my inability to trust the Chargers offense, because one is the Chargers, two, Justin Herbert still has this weird playoff thing about him. Yeah, and 3, the offensive tackles. Between those 3 things, I do think Denver's defense would shut things down, and I think that would buy Bo Nix the time to figure things out. So I would take Denver against the Chargers. So that's what it is, people. Denver, they are the 1 seed. They are the team with the best record in the AFC, but I would ultimately say that they have a chance of beating half the field and losing to half the field. It's a very tricky conference. Again, people, you guys saw what I did last year. It is not going to be so simple as one team wins every matchup. So we did the 1 seed, 2 seed, moving to New England. So in the event that New England plays Jacksonville in Boston, how would I see this happening? This is a tricky one to me. They didn't match up in the regular season, so there's no really feel for how they match up. You're talking about 2 first-year coaches. So there's no real history of these 2 coaches matching up. Yeah, I'm not really exactly sure how I feel about this. Again, I think the big standout for me is in a matchup like this, it feels like Jacksonville has more talent. They are on the road. I think I would be picking Jacksonville here. This is a very tricky one for me. I feel like it's a toss-up. Some matchups you pick a winner and you feel like 90% confidence in it. This one, whoever I'm picking, I have a pretty low level of confidence. I just cannot escape the fact that I feel like it's so early for New England. It is so early. Drake May is in his 2nd year. A bunch of these offensive weapons around Stephon Diggs are early in their careers and they have no playoff experience. Ramondre isn't early in his career, but he has no meaningful playoff experience. I think he played against the Bills with Mac Jones once. Again, the defense, I love Milton Williams and I love Christian Gonzalez, but I don't think that's a talent-rich defense. I think that you're talking about a good scheme and good fits for the scheme. But when I look at Jacksonville and I see 2 dynamic edge rushers, and I see Tyson Campbell, and I see, I believe they traded for Greg Newsome. They have I forget the linebacker, but the point is, I just feel like the Jags have more talent. I've gone back and forth on this a ton. I would take the Jags to beat the Patriots as of now. So yeah, I have the Patriots now losing to the 2 teams around them, the 1 seed and the 3 seed. If the Patriots were to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would have the Patriots winning. I don't really love the Steelers at all as a team. I think their offense is, outside of DK Metcalf, incredibly predictable. They're getting the ball to their running backs. I think their defense is extremely I think their defense is suspect. Like we saw against Baltimore. Baltimore has not been a team that's had much figured out for themselves this year. Everything has come and gone, and they still found a way to get 4 huge plays against the Steelers. I think the level, like the coaching gap in the event of these two teams matching up would be very serious. And I think New England would get it done. So I have New England beating Pittsburgh. If New England matches up against Houston, this is a tricky one for me, but I'm taking Houston. Uh, I think that defense would make things very difficult for Drake May and the Patriots offense. And again, I think from a talent standpoint, I have a hard time imagining the Patriots defense shutting out Houston for the entire game. Again, I think Houston will do some contributing to that. I think they'll shut themselves down a little bit, but I I don't think I see New England beating that defense. That defense is so good. Okay. New England against Buffalo. This is where things get interesting because these two teams know each other really well. If you watch the NFC video I did, I talked about how Seahawks, Rams, and Packers, Bears, two matchups where the season is split series is split 1-1. But in terms of how the two teams played each other, it's not even. I think one team was considerably better for more of that matchup. And I think in this case, it would definitely be the Patriots. Again, I talked a lot about the Patriots and discussed how I don't think that they're like a particularly talented team. I think they have a handful of very talented players, but I think they have great coaching and a bunch of great scheme fits. I don't think Buffalo is particularly talented either. And I think, this is the kind of game that it would be destined to be close. New England, I definitely trust New England's coaching better. And they have home field advantage. And I thought they were the better team over 120 minutes against Buffalo. So I would have them beating Buffalo if this matchup happened. And then when New England inevitably does play the Chargers, I have to think about this. No, you're right. I think you're right, as if the audience said something. I would have the Patriots winning this matchup. I think the Chargers, again, lack of offensive tackles, lack of confidence in the Chargers as an institution, lack of confidence in Justin Herbert as a playoff performer. The Chargers are just terrifying to me for that reason. So I would have the Patriots winning, and again, I have them going 3-3 against playoff competition here. On to Jacksonville. Now, again, I have Jacksonville beating the 2 seeds above them, and I absolutely have them beating Pittsburgh as well. I don't think I have Pittsburgh beating a ton of these teams in the playoffs. But yeah, I just think Jacksonville is better. If Jacksonville were to play Houston, oh my goodness, that would be tricky. I would take Houston. I think I saw Houston beat this team with a backup quarterback. Davis Mills made a crazy comeback, and I don't think either of these teams are the same team from that matchup. But I can't get past the feeling of when I think about these two teams, the single thing I'm most confident about. Yeah, the single thing I'm most confident about is Houston's defense compared to Jacksonville's defense or even Jacksonville's offense. Because I don't expect Trevor Lawrence to be perfect in the playoffs. I expect things to come and go. I don't expect their running game to be flawless. Like I expect Jacksonville, I think they're a pretty well-rounded team, but there's a certain dominance that Houston's defense has that I don't see in a lot of other places. So put simply, I would have Houston beating the Jags. Now I'm thinking about that as I said that there. Yeah, I would have to. Yeah, I would have to pick Houston again, divisional opponent, and I watched them walk them down with Davis Mills. That was a jarring thing to see. Okay, Jacksonville against Buffalo, which is the matchup that they actually play in. Again, I do think Jacksonville has the better roster. I think Buffalo has the better quarterback, but I think Jacksonville has the better coaching, and for that reason. Again, do we necessarily love and believe in Trevor Lawrence unconditionally? No, but I have seen him play a very good playoff game before. And I don't think he'll have to play that good of a playoff game against the Bills and Josh Allen. I think he just has to not give them anything easy, because I do think in this matchup, I envision the Bills letting Josh Allen down and making life not so easy for him. A lot of running away from Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. And then yeah, if the Jaguars were to play the Chargers in a repeat of the crazy 4 interception overtime Herbert game, I don't even know if that went to overtime. No, it was one at the end. I would have the Jaguars winning. Again, for the Chargers, it's the same thing. Offensive tackles, Chargers institution, Justin Herbert. I need to feel different about some of those things before I predict some wins there. Okay, Pittsburgh. I have them losing every matchup so far. Do I have them beating Houston? No, I have Houston beating them. Again, basically copy paste my belief about Pittsburgh and Denver. I think Houston's defense would make life very difficult for Pittsburgh, and I don't think Pittsburgh's defense can hold up, even in Pittsburgh. So I have Houston winning that game. Pittsburgh against Buffalo. Give me Buffalo. Buffalo ran all over Pittsburgh when these two teams matched up, and I don't know if that would happen quite the same way. But I don't think Buffalo would be scared of Pittsburgh at all. And again, I do think Pittsburgh has their limitations. And yeah, I don't think the world of that team. So I would have Pittsburgh losing to the Bills. So I have Pittsburgh losing to everybody in the playoffs. The last team for them to potentially beat would be the LA Chargers. I think I would pick them against the Chargers. No, you know what's rough? Okay, I think for these teams, oh man. For these, yeah, okay. Yeah, I would have Pittsburgh over the Chargers, man. In Pittsburgh, I can just see it happening, man. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, they would find something. They would find a way to terrorize Herbert. Amarian Hampton isn't healthy. Yeah, I would see Pittsburgh being, again. I look at the Chargers defense and I see a good defense, but I don't see something again with like a pronounced strength that I can look at and say, okay, that's going to give Pittsburgh headaches. I think Rodgers would check the ball down every chance he gets and figure it out. So I think the Steelers would beat the Chargers. But again, that 4-7 matchup, I believe would have to be, yeah, it would have to be the AFC Championship game. So we're never going to see that game. Okay, last two matchups. If Houston played Buffalo, and this is where things get interesting because copy paste everything I said about Buffalo and Denver, right? Is Denver's defense amazing? Yes. Can Josh Allen be Superman? Yes. When these two teams matched up in Houston, did Josh Allen have a chance to win the game at the end? He did, right? We saw an unfortunate call. I think it was a missed call. Not a missed call, but a call that could have gone either way. It didn't go in Buffalo's favor. We saw Buffalo give up 8 sacks. I think they would learn to not expose Josh Allen the way they did in that game. Not to say that you have all these options against Houston's defense, but again, if I believe that Josh Allen can find a way to just score enough points to make things not easy on Houston's offense, the way I said that he would against Denver, to not make it easy for Denver's offense, I think I have to be consistent with that. So I would have the Bills beating Houston if this 5-6 matchup happened in. This could be a divisional round matchup if every wild card team wins, but that won't happen. And then who else do I have? Oh, Houston against the Chargers. Oh man. No, give me. We already saw this matchup. Houston had an excellent game plan for the Chargers. They almost let it slip at the end, but I think that defense knows what to do in this matchup. So again, I have Houston beating every team but Buffalo. I have Jacksonville beating every team but Houston. Hilariously, those are the teams I see doing well. Last matchup, Chargers and Bills. We're taking Bills, people. Again, I've talked a lot about, for the Bills. I think one of their biggest issue is that they're going to need Josh Allen to be Superman in most of these games. I see him being able to do it. To do it in 4 games in a row would be tough, but I think he might not have to be Superman against the Chargers, man. I think Herbert might help him out. So those are my AFC predictions, guys. Like I said, I did this last year. When I did it last year, I had this outcome. I don't think I don't have things so simply this year. I don't think one team is just gonna run through everyone the way I did last year. It's a complicated little mashup of predictions. But yeah, feel free to reference this throughout the playoffs. We're gonna do this again next year. Like I said, this is typically a live streaming community. I don't normally do pre-uploads or like pre-recorded uploads like this. But this week's been incredibly hectic. This is happening on Wednesday, January 7th. I will see you guys Friday, January 9th for Indiana and Oregon. And then I'll see you guys all wildcard weekend for watch alongs. So tune into the live streams. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys then. Take care. I'm out. Peace.